Today, we're going to a small town out in the New Mexico desert to look into a mystery that, honestly, kind of defies science. It's all about a sound that haunts a small group of people, but that no one else can hear. So yeah, let's get into it. Seriously, I want you to try this for just a second. Just imagine a sound in the background of your life that you can never turn off. Ever. Not for a minute, not for a second. It's just always there. And that's the sound we're talking about, a low, deep, rumbling noise. You know that kind of sound, right? The one you feel in your chest just as much as you hear it? It's a sound that tells you something big is running just out of sight. And that's the moment the mystery really kicks in. You get up to find it, you look out the window, you go outside, you're looking for a truck or some kind of machinery, but there's nothing. It's completely silent. The world looks totally peaceful, but that sound is still pounding away inside your head. So this isn't just some thought experiment. For a number of residents in Taos, New Mexico, this beautiful, serene, artsy town in the desert, this has been their actual reality since the early 1990s. They're living with a sound that, for all intents and purposes, just shouldn't exist. And let me be clear, this is way more than just a little annoyance. The people who hear it call it torture. It just seeps into every single moment of their lives. It's this constant, unwanted guest that never, ever goes away. Now, here's where the story gets really weird. The part that turns this from a strange noise complaint into a genuine scientific puzzle, well, it isn't the sound itself. It's the people who can actually hear it. So you might be thinking, does this sound drive the whole town crazy? Is it some kind of mass event? Nope, not even close. And the answer to this question is what makes the Taos Hum so bizarre. Just 2%. Think about that. Out of thousands of people all living in the exact same place, only this tiny, tiny fraction of them are tormented by the hum. Researchers even gave them a name for it, the hearers. Can you imagine being one of them? Trying to explain this constant, maddening noise to the 98% of your neighbors who hear absolutely nothing? And the effects this had on them, they were really severe. We're talking constant headaches, dizziness, people unable to sleep for days on end. Some even got nosebleeds and reported this really disturbing physical sensation, like a vibration deep in their chest. So it's no surprise that this led to terrible anxiety and depression for so many of the hearers. By 1993, the complaints had gotten so loud and so desperate that the whole thing was kicked up to the national level. The United States Congress actually stepped in and ordered a full-blown scientific investigation to finally figure out what in the world was going on. So, a team of top-tier scientists from 6 different universities shows up in Taos, and they bring out the big guns, the most sensitive sound-detecting equipment on the planet. For months, they measured and recorded and analyzed everything. And the results of all that time, all that money, all that expertise? Absolutely nothing. A big fat zero. And this is the craziest part. The super expensive high-tech equipment, it detected no anomalies. No sound, no vibration, no weird frequencies, nothing. But, and get this, in the very same room, at the exact same time, the hearers who were participating in the study, they could still hear the rumble. So with science officially shrugging its shoulders, the door was basically thrown wide open for theories, and boy, were there a lot of them. So let's play detective and look at the top suspects in the strange case of the Taos Hum. Okay, so here's the deal. Every single one of the most plausible theories has a major hole in it. Suspect number 1, secret military experiments from a nearby Air Force base. I mean, it makes sense, right? But the military has flatly denied it over and over. Okay, suspect 2, geological activity. Maybe low-frequency rumbles from natural gas deep underground. Plausible, but the gas companies checked everything and found no leaks, no pressure changes, nothing. And finally, could it just be a medical thing? You know, like a weird, localized outbreak of tinnitus? The problem there is that tinnitus doesn't explain why it only happens in one specific area, or why people literally feel physical vibrations. For years, the case just went cold. The mystery was completely unsolved. But then, a researcher visiting the town had a personal experience that led to a stunning breakthrough, and it finally gave the hearers the validation they'd been fighting for. So this scientist, Dr. Glenn Macpherson, is visiting Taos back in 2012, and then out of absolutely nowhere, he starts hearing it. He becomes a hearer. He wasn't a local, he had zero connection to this whole thing. And just like that, the objective scientist became a subjective sufferer. and he spent the next 10 years trying to find an answer. And after all those years of research, his conclusion was a total bombshell. He said, the hum is not in people's heads, it's not a psychological issue, it is a real, physical sound wave moving through the air. So what was the big explanation? Dr. McPherson's work suggests the sound exists at an incredibly low frequency, right on the very edge of what humans can hear. It's so low, in fact, that most of our ears are just not built to pick it up. It's like a sound that's been hiding in plain sight, or, I guess, in plain sound. Which leaves us with one last, huge, tantalizing question. Science may have finally proven that the hum is real, but it still hasn't answered the most human part of the puzzle. What is it about the hearers that makes them different? Why are their ears, and only their ears, tuned to this strange, invisible frequency? And that's a mystery that, for now, remains completely unsolved.